So what were you just telling me, Dennis?
We're adjusting the length of the studs right now. Pull it out a little bit.
Now you're getting them to the proper length. And I brought a new bearing. It's over here. Did you ever take a look at that Continental document? So when you were talking with Lynn, and he was telling you about the inspection of the camshaft and the tappet bodies, Lycoming doesn't publish any documentation for whether or not they're serviceable, but Continental does, and it's very detailed. And if you look at the document, they even consider this acceptable.
Oh, seriously?
As long as it doesn't exceed...
Can you please send this document to me or to the Jacob Torby directly?
No, I sent it to him too.
Okay,
we were laughing about it.
Yeah, because we are stuck with this stuff because a couple of them are damaged on the
So these, how Continental considers it, if it is less than 10% of the tappet body, and if the tappet body doesn't, it can't be on the face where it mates in the center, like on it's less minor here, but there's also another test you can do. I mean, you could take a pick or you could take your fingernail, and if you run it over the damage, if it doesn't catch, you're good. So while Dennis does the hard stuff, which is getting all of these studs to the proper height, I am going to do the easy thing and install this oil sprayer nozzle. 3/8. All my 3/8 wrenches are gone because I suck. So you were right, it is a 3/8. This is why you're the professional. And Jacob the other day, so when I did my undergraduate in engineering, I had a big preference for the metric system because this is what we used a lot in engineering. I didn't really like the imperial system. It didn't really make sense. If you say, for instance, take 1/8 versus 1/16, that anything you measure in the 16th system is double the precision of what it was before. So you automatically know with a reference. When you use millimeters, like, okay, 1 millimeter, half a millimeter, like 10 mil, like, you don't get like an automatic understanding of how precise it's supposed to be. I mean, you do, I guess, if you use metric enough, but I don't know, for me, it's interesting.
Can you please help me one more time?
Yeah, sure.
Put it a little bit more than it should be. So use the hammer and the piece of wood and slightly hit it.
Do you think we should sand this down a little bit?
No. It's take a look closer.
Well, mostly my worry is that some of these are about to chip off, and I'm worrying about these going free in the engine.
Oh, you can do this, of course.
I think just a very tiny, super tiny amount. Just enough to not get shavings in our bearings, which would not be a fun time. You can install a TVS. I have some. Here, I'll give you. It's called a TVS.
TVS?
TVS. I can send you a specific part number you can use.
What's the purpose of this device?
A TVS. Here, I'll show you what it looks like. Well, no, it'll be easier if you see it. I have one right here. So,
like a stabilizer?
No. So this is a TVS.
Okay.
And there are unidirectional TVSs, i.e. like a diode.
Okay.
This is a bidirectional TVS. Essentially what this does is you can almost think of it like a resistor that only activates at a very specific voltage. So this diode, for instance, has a standard operating voltage of 32 volts.
Okay.
So essentially I have a 28 volt system. If the system at any point passes 32 volts or more, cuts it off. But it's not a mechanical thing. Generate heat from that. And theoretically, like for instance, these are used in lightning protection modules. So I actually installed these all across my systems, on my essential systems. If I ever get struck by lightning, this is where this is most important. But it can also be used for transient voltage spikes, like starting the engine. And in fact, you can put these on buses if you really wanted to. They don't just have to go. But the cool thing about this is I like bidirectional ones because you can install it on a ground and a positive. And actually, I installed them on both because if you're getting struck by lightning, you don't know
what
where.
What temperature it can hold?
I can find one that is specifically made for 14 volt systems. And I would say you would have a transient voltage spike protector, maybe around 18 volts. You can make it less, but it just depends on like how much tolerance do you want. My main purpose of protection was lightning, so mine was a little bit higher. If you have a 14 volt system, I'd say you can get something that has 16 volts. And the cool thing about these is under that voltage, they have almost no resistance.
Oh,
so it's almost like you're passing it through a normal wire. There's like maybe like 0.007 milliamp drop or something. So it's very, actually the drop isn't from the diode, it's from the wire. And in fact, yeah, but anyways, you can install those. You would need to isolate the starter. So the starter is what actually causes damage. Yeah. It isn't the mags, it's the starter. Actually on this airplane, my starter is activated by a solenoid.
Okay.
And it has an isolator on it. The electromagnetic interference from the starter is enough to induce a voltage, enough to damage sensitivity.
All the time, because the coil produces the magnetic field in the solenoid.
Yeah.
You have a chance to get the air compressor.
Yes, in theory. I don't know if he's here right now. Why do you need it?
Because I would like to flush it with air. Tiny aluminum pieces here.
Yeah.
Still, so yeah, it's really hard to remove the mold. But
Clean this out. Put some light oil on it. Now should just go right in.
All right. So you believe we can install the tappets that we have?
Yes, I believe so.
Nice.
Are a little bit raised, huh? Interesting. Raised up from the body. They don't torque it all the way down. I think it's an MPT thread, actually. That's why it seals itself. You don't need a sealant on it. Okay, let me find the 3/8 sockets. Got that in there. And we also measured the distance. So they're both 19.6, so everything looks good. I think we're done with this for now. What's next, Dennis?
Install the bearing.
Awesome. Let's do it. We had to order a new main bearing because one of the ones we ordered was complete garbage. Now we have a new one that is less garbage. Full day. Yeah, do it. It's a beautiful day to do IFR, I think. Or the clouds might have already cleared up, but earlier today it was light drizzle.
Love to fly through the clouds. It's really interesting.
Yeah, do you have your IFR yet?
No, yet.
Yeah, you should get with somebody.
I'm lazy, you know.
Yeah, it's good. But so we've installed the bearings here. Just going to install one more. Looks like we're going to run out of time today to put these together, but we can do it tomorrow. This looks good. Got all these bearings on here. Final one goes on there. And I'm going to clean up this crankshaft because I had to reapply oil on it to keep it preserved. And then we can get started on putting things together tomorrow. Still have to finish cleaning though. Get the tape off.